Okay, preparing the meeting. Okay, we're live. Good afternoon, everybody. Again, I'm Melanie McGovern. I am the Communications Director for Better Business Bureau of Upstate New York. We are concluding our pandemic stories this week with Joe Kirschmeyer from the West Seneca Chamber of Commerce. You're probably wondering why we have a chamber on, because we have a community partner program where we partner with chambers, other business organizations across upstate New York, just to share information with both our accredited businesses and our chamber partners, and to let people know, hey, you have a BBB, here are our services, any kind of webinars we share with them. And actually, Joe has been very helpful to us in planning some of our webinars during the pandemic. We should actually talk about that too. But first, welcome, thank you. Your video was really inspiring. Tell us about the chamber and how you guys supported your members during the pandemic.
Okay, well, first, thanks for having me on. This is a great opportunity. We love our involvement with the BBB and connecting with you on a variety of projects. But today, yeah, we're here to talk about the pandemic. And, back a year ago, March, when things got crazy, that's when our phones started ringing off the hook, as you might expect. And ironically, it was not only just chamber members, but a lot of non-members as well were contacting us, basically pleading for any information that we could provide. We had, obviously there was a lot of emotion. We had people in tears on the phone. I mean, it was pretty, obviously, as we all know, it was a pretty terrible time. So we just, made the decision right away just to basically change the way we did business overnight and just become far more evolved into far more of a support role for our members and non-members. And I think it was important that we reached out to non-members too, because nobody wants to see empty buildings. Nobody wants to see businesses go, close their doors. So it was important for us to help anybody we could. And, there were a number of ways that we did it. One of the first things that we did, and I really give a lot of credit to our incredible board of directors for this, but we immediately thought, well, let's see if we can't put together a grant program, which we did. We called it our Chamber Cares Grant Program. We immediately threw $10,000 of chamber money back into the kitty to help members. And then we ended up getting a little bit more. So we ended up having a total of $12,500, and we handed out $500 grants. Now the amount is relatively insignificant. I mean, it's $500. It's not going to be the difference between a company staying open or closing their doors. But the gratitude that we received just from these business owners, knowing that somebody was thinking about them and was there to help them through this. And we told them, I said, use the funds any way that you want. Pay a part-time, one of your part-timers. Complete maybe a project that you were working on before the pandemic. Whatever, treat your employees to lunch, pay your bills. We didn't care. So that wasn't part of the application at all. It was just, if you need it, we're going to do the best that we can. And ironically, we ended up with 25 applicants, and we handed each one a check for $500. And it just, I don't think it kept any businesses open, but it made their week, it made their month, and they were really happy just to know that we were there supporting them any way that we could. And we hope
it's huge too. I mean, that's what chambers are there for. They're there to support the community and support the businesses. So you're right. Any little bit probably totally helped.
Yeah, and we're hoping to. That's one of the things that that one of our goals coming out of the pandemic is that we can continue this Chamber Cares grant program for years to come. Not going to let any cats out of the bag, but I do have a meeting set up with one of our larger supporters, and you may see an interesting collaboration with a local brewery that might help to fund our Chamber Cares program.
Ooh, spoiler alerts. That's terrific.
Yeah.
You know, it's so important for people to support their local chamber of commerce. We talk about it all the time. That's the pulse of the business community. That's where you're getting your information about what's going on. So, you know, if you have the opportunity to join your local chamber, please do so. You guys also did some more innovative ways to, you know, raise your revenues during the pandemic. And I know I keep seeing alerts for your farmers market. Talk about that. That's so interesting.
Yeah, there were quite a few ways. Obviously, we're a nonprofit organization too. So when the pandemic hit, we lost our event revenue. We lost a lot of sponsorship dollars that were associated with those types of events, and it put us in a little bit of a bind. Fortunately, even going into the pandemic, our chamber was in outstanding financial shape. Thank God, and we still are today. We're doing great. We're not going anywhere. But revenue was obviously a concern to us, just like it was to any other businesses and organizations out there. So yeah, a couple things we did. One of the first things, I'll get to the farmers market in a minute, but one of the first things we did was we thought, well, how can we create another revenue stream? So we introduced retail products, West Seneca themed retail products. We did coasters, lanterns, cutting boards, which were made right in West Seneca, so they're kind of unique. Ornaments, all using historic West Seneca images that we were able to incorporate into like the lanterns and the coasters, and we sold them, and we did quite well with them, and it was just a new revenue stream, and we hope to continue that. We'll probably be looking at some new items for the upcoming holiday season. So, but yeah, so that was one of the things we did. The farmers market. Yeah, ironically, I had started the West Seneca Farmers Market back in 2014, ran it for 3 years, and then turned it over to the town. And then with a new town administration, and then me taking over the chamber a couple of years ago, we decided this year that we would work together, and we came to an agreement that we would both run the West Seneca Farmers Market. Again, a lot of work, but also a new revenue stream for us, and an opportunity for a lot of our members and non-members who are often looking for vendor opportunities. So the market runs on Thursday nights. It's a 16-week market. It started on March 13th, May 13th, I believe, and it runs through the end of August. Thursday nights, 4 to 7:30 p.m. on the grassy hill right next to West Seneca Town Hall. We have about 25 vendors right now, including some food trucks. We are adding hopefully 6 more vendors in the coming weeks. Again, I'm going to let out a little secret. I think we're going to have some yoga classes up under the trees on the hill. So that'll be fun. That'll be announced likely in June. But yeah, just, people are just still looking for things to do. A lot of our bigger events throughout Western New York have been canceled already for the summer. So we worked really closely with not only the town of West Seneca, but Erie County and New York State, just to make sure we're sticking to all the COVID guidelines and things like that. So we do have, certain amount of distance between all our vendors. We have hand sanitizer out. We're taking all the precautions. We are literally talking to the Erie County Health Department on pretty much a daily basis. So we want to just make sure that we fly under the radar and we're doing everything right. And just, love to have more people come out and support us and, shop local. I mean, that's so important right now.
Oh, it is.
Our small
Absolutely.
businesses are still hurting and struggling, and anything we can do to support them is a bonus.
So what did I'm trying to think of so things that you guys adopted during the pandemic, any kind of business practices, new ways to do things, are those going to continue as we go forward? Because I know we still have to wear masks in the building, even though the CDC says we don't, but we just want to reassure everybody that, we're staying safe here. Is there anything that you guys did that you're going to keep doing that it, ended up working during the pandemic?
Well, in terms of like safety precautions and things like that, we're just strictly adhering to whatever the town. Our office is located in a town building in the West Seneca Community Center and Library, so we have to kind of follow whatever they tell us to do. So we're following closely. We're watching what the town's saying, the county, the state, and keeping with them with those regulations. But in terms of like events and other things that came out of the pandemic, Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to continue our grant program. We'll continue our West Seneca product line and grow that. One of the other interesting things that we did last summer too was, we had some really successful breakfast networking events and lunchtime speaker events. And actually the BBB was a good partner with some of those events that would come and set up a vendor table and participate. And unfortunately, we had to get away from doing those in person. So of course, like everybody else, we kind of transitioned a lot of those things over to Zoom. And then we started seeing, the Zoom fatigue. So one of the things that we decided to do last summer, well, we know, people still wanted to get together, but they wanted to do it safely, and they wanted to learn more about West Seneca and just talk about all things, related to the town. So we started some outdoor walk and talk events, we called them. So we each week for 6 weeks, we met at a different park in West Seneca that had walking trails. And some weeks we had 4 people, some weeks we had 15. And we would just literally walk along the trails, socially distant, with our masks on. That was at the height of the pandemic. And we would just talk about West Seneca. So, I mean, not only was it kind of healthy, we're out in the fresh air, we're getting some walking in, but we were able to walk and talk, and the participants were able to network. So I would like to continue that this summer as well. Not sure when we're going to reintroduce them, but maybe more towards the fall. We like to walk and talk, not walk and sweat. So
I love that idea. But it's better than sitting in a banquet room eating chamber chicken.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you know, we always joke about chamber chicken and lunches, but boy, I missed them. While we were stuck at home. And I know one of our chamber partners is having their awards lunch on Zoom today, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there, but yeah, I think as we get back to it, it'll be interesting to see.
One of the other things that we did too is we became far more community oriented. Our involvement has always been primarily with the business community, but we wanted to expand our reach out to the community as a whole and do whatever we could. If we couldn't have as many like networking meetings and things like that as we normally did in the past, well, what can we do instead that's going to help the whole community? So back in December, in the community center and library, we purchased 10 artificial Christmas trees. We lined the community center hallway with them. We had different organizations and businesses decorate them, and then we auctioned them off. We put them online. We auctioned off the trees, and we ended up raising like $2,500 for Kids Escaping Drugs and the SPCA, both of which are located in West Seneca. That I can see turning into another annual event. And then in January, we decided to do a food drive to help replenish the local food pantries. Never did one before. I was expecting maybe a dozen bags of groceries to show up. We literally filled a room in the community center and library almost from floor to ceiling, and we helped replenish 7 food pantries in Western New York. So that was great. So that may become an annual tradition as well. In February, we turned our attention to, every year we would have maybe 1 or 2 blood drives that we would sponsor, but because the need for blood has been so great this year, we teamed up with Connect Life, and in February we sponsored 3 blood drives for them, and they were moderately successful, but hey, one unit saves 3 lives. So no, I think we ended up with 35 to 40 units of blood that we were able to collect, so that was good. And we love our connection with Connect Life too. We've done a lot of projects with them. So yeah, so a lot of these things I think will continue. We've kind of really evolved into a different kind of chapter or chamber, but it's awesome. We're helping a lot more people, and I think too, I don't know if our efforts have anything to do with it, but I think recently we've been seeing a real increase in interest in commercial properties in West Seneca. There's some properties that have been vacant for the past 10 years that are suddenly being scooped up. Wow. And I think that's a great sign for the town and for our future, and we're really excited about it.
Wow, it sounds like you were even busier during the pandemic.
Well, yeah, that's how I closed my video that we submitted about our pandemic story, that you would think, in the midst of a pandemic that things would slow down, but I really don't think we've ever been busier. And if I could tell you about one more thing real quick, we have some interesting historic and arts related destinations in West Seneca, and ironically, a lot of them are located within walking distance of each other, right over in the Union Road, Clinton Street corridor. So we have like 9 different attractions there. We've kind of gotten everybody in, you know, that represents those 9 establishments. So we have like the Birchfield Nature and Arts Center. We have Birchfield Park. We have the Christian Metz House, which dates back to like the 1840s and the Ebenezer days. We have St. John's Church. While the historic church isn't there anymore, when they rebuilt the church, they saved the stained glass windows and renovated them. And those date back to the early 1900s. We have 14 Holy Helpers Church, which dates back to the 1850s. We have an Ebenezer Cemetery. We have St. John's Cemetery with all its unique statuary and history. And I think the cornerstone of this whole project that we're now calling the Charles Birchfield Gardenville District was the original Charles Birchfield and his family lived on Clinton Street. And that house and his actual studio, a separate building, still exists. And a young couple came in recently, purchased it, and immediately saw, you know, the importance of the art history there. So they are seeking local landmark status. They are putting together a nonprofit organization. They are going to open hopefully a museum with an artist in residence program. So, I mean, we had all this stuff in our own backyard. So what we decided to do is just start promoting it as one district. So that's the Charles Birchfield Gardenville District. A lot of the buildings right now aren't open, but you can still, even just walking around them, you can kind of get the feel for the whole, you know, significance and importance of the arts and history right in that neighborhood. I think other towns and cities would kill to have something like that in their backyard. We have it. We've just never really promoted it right. So that's what we've kind of taken it upon ourselves to do that as well.
Wow. We could go for 2 hours talking
Talking
about everything you guys did. It's just so incredible. And, you know, like it should be a model for other chambers to just say, you know what, let's just shake it up and support the community any way we can. And it sounds like you guys not only survived the pandemic, but it sounds like you have a lot of great programs going forward. So that's just incredible. So I just, you know, want to wrap up by saying thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And all of these videos are on our Facebook page. You can watch them there. But for now, we'll see you next week on Instagram. And thank you to Joe and all of our accredited businesses and charities and partners who took the time this week to talk to us. We really appreciate it. So with that, any parting words?
No, just thanks for the opportunity. And if anybody wants information about the West Seneca Chamber, you can follow us on Facebook or look us up online at westseneca.org.
Wonderful. Thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks, Joe.
Bye.
Bye.